Hello, this is Solomon Davis, Right Side Trader. Today is November 18th, 2023, and this is my weekly market review, where I'm reviewing the Russell 2000 on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only. As we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading. So please check with your financial advisor. Please check with your significant other and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. All right, let's jump right over to the chart and see what we see. At a quick glance, the Russell is still red. And it still looks like it's below the 9 moving average or 10 moving average. So it's still our bear. But let's zoom on in here and see what we see and all, and get this over with. Let me zoom in a little bit here also. It's, again, remember I had this drop dead red zone down here that I didn't, again, if it went below there, I was out of a lot of my stuff was expiring. It was time for me to get out. But again, it went a lot lower, and I did get back in, and I played it back up a little bit, but then I got out, and it's gone. It continued to go. So that's just the way things go. No more about trading and no trade recommendations here. But as we can see here on the quarterly chart, we are red. We are forming a hammer. So the Russell is acting like it wants to turn around and go higher. My thing is, even if it does go higher, I think it can break 1900. I think it can actually get back across 1900. And I can see it getting as much as around 1940, maybe 1930. As we look at the lower time frames, I'll show you why I say that and all. But as we can see, it's still red for the quarter. It's forming a nice hammer. So that, again, maybe next year, that this thing might be able to break previous year highs. Is definitely not going to go to all-time highs here by the end of the year. At least I don't think. But as we know, anything can happen in this market. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at the monthly chart and see what we see there. On the monthly chart, let me zoom in a little bit here. As we can see, we're having a good month. It has peaked above previous month, so we got a higher low, and we do already have a higher high looking at the wicks and all, and the body is still just a little bit below that previous month body. If we can get, again, like I said, I know 1820 is my number here that I need to get above. I would love to see this market close above that. And next week, I think next week would be the week that this thing can actually do it, if it's going to do it and all. But we still got this pivot here, which is around 1864. So again, for this month or this quarter, getting above that is going to be hard. But if it does, looking at the big picture here, let me zoom in a little bit so you can maybe see these numbers a little bit better and see what I'm looking at. Now, this is my other number. Like I said, we might be able to get up to here to an R2 level, and this is at 1950. So again, by the end of the year, this is our high for me. I do not see us breaking yearly highs, but as we all know, anything can happen. But I do see, if we can get across this pivot, we definitely probably will run up to at least around this 1950 or so. That's what I can see and all. And I'm just basing it off of pivots, based on what I see, based on what this market has done before in the past. It likes going to an R1 level or just below an R1 level if it can get back across pivot. It very seldom to go to an R2 level on quarterly pivots. Take a look at it yourself. Zoom in a little closer, do your own little research and see what you see. And all, no trade recommendations there based on what I'm seeing. I'm just telling you what I see. All right, let's go down to the weekly chart. In the weekly chart, let's zoom in. We're finally getting a zigzag of this market actually going back up, as we can see on this weekly chart. Let me just zoom in a little bit here where we can see a little bit better. We are getting support from stochastic on the weekly time frame on this thing going back up. We are finally getting some higher lows and some higher highs. It was kind of sketchy a couple of weeks ago. Was it going to get above this monthly? What was support is now turning into resist. This is a resistance level. This is a resistance level. This resistance, this R1 a couple of weeks ago, it finally busted above that. And I can definitely see, as you can see here, on the weekly and on the monthly pivots, this thing can go to an R2 level, but that's only 1800. So again, week by week by week, I can see us going again. Here's this 1950 something number. But what I'm also looking at, we're going to be close to these highs right here. So again, we're going to be close to this area right here. So getting above 1920 to 1950 is going to be kind of tough. Even getting above my line that I have here, which is right around 1900, it's going to be tough. But I can see it happening. I can see it actually really getting up here in the high 1800s and close to 1900, based on what we're seeing. And the stochastic is supporting that. It's finally turned around and finally kind of like giving us that, look like it can do it. I think I can. All right, let's take a quick look at the daily chart and see how it went last week. As you can see, I stretched out my little zones and I'll just stretch them across. This is a nice pattern back here. A couple of previous week, not this week that's just passed. Before we got this big run up here. This is was on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This was on Tuesday, but we had a nice little bullish. I think I might have mentioned that because I said I was looking at the bodies and all. It wasn't in the right location. I was looking at something different. I wasn't looking at the RUT, but they're all going to have the same type patterns on them and all. And I said, oh, nice little pattern here. Will we get confirmation? And we got a little bit there on Monday. Then on Tuesday, I don't know what it was. I don't remember exactly what it was. But then this market just ran up like crazy. We got back above 1800. We actually closed above 1800. And then this market got kind of tired. It could not. I was telling my trade partner, we was looking at this. I said, this thing is having a hard time getting above R2 at this time. I don't think it's going to get above R2. I was kind of letting. I just mentioned R2. When I mentioned R2, it's kind of like it's not going to get above R2, even though we had this big spike up and all. But it hit it 1, 2, 3. This was the fourth time. But I was saying, how many times can it hit that ceiling? You got this supply back over here that's actually keeping this market down, and it's above this area here. How many times can it hit that ceiling before it breaks through? And if it breaks through, I'm talking about 150 more points. No trade recommendations, but I can definitely see that. Because, again, it gets back to the other picture. I can see it going to around 1950 or just below 1950 by the end of the year. But that's that. And that's all I really want to share here on the Russell. The Russell is beginning to look strong. Let's go back here at the monthly picture. It's still below the 10. I didn't mention that. It's still technically bearish. Once it gets above this point here, it tends to want to take off, especially when it comes from below it and then go above it. So if we can get this month to close above here, December can be our Christmas rally month, to run us all the way back up here to around this 1950. And that's all I really want to share. I don't know if I really mentioned that here on this monthly picture that I've been looking at. And that's all I really want to share. This is Solomon. Hope you guys having a great week. Had a great week. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. And I'll talk to you next weekend. Have a good one. Bye.